Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to reflect on a profound truth that resonates deeply within our hearts. God knows that you are tired. In a world that often demands more than we can give, weariness becomes a common thread weaving through the fabric of our existence. It is essential to understand that this tiredness is not merely a physical ailment. It encompasses the emotional and spiritual fatigue that weighs upon our souls. The nature of weariness is universal. Each of us at some point in our lives has felt the burden of exhaustion, be it from the relentless pressures of daily life, the sorrow of loss, or the persistent anxieties that plague our thoughts. In these moments of fatigue, it is easy to feel isolated, as though we are alone in our struggles. Yet the truth remains: God is intimately aware of our condition. His understanding is profound and unconditional, encompassing every sigh and tear that we experience. This divine awareness offers us not only comfort but also a reminder of the depth of His love. Tiredness, in its many forms, is an intrinsic aspect of the human experience. It transcends mere physical fatigue. It encompasses emotional, mental, and spiritual exhaustion, presenting a multidimensional challenge that individuals grapple with throughout their lives. Understanding tiredness begins with recognizing that it is a universal phenomenon, one that affects all people, regardless of age, background, or circumstance. From the bustling rhythms of urban life to the quiet solitude of rural existence, weariness finds its way into our daily lives, often creeping in when we least expect it. Physical tiredness is perhaps the most immediately recognizable form. It arises from our daily activities: work, chores, parenting, and even leisure. Our bodies require rest to function optimally, yet societal pressures often compel us to push beyond our limits. The modern world glorifies busyness, making it a badge of honor to be constantly occupied. In this environment, rest can feel like a luxury rather than a necessity. However, neglecting physical rest can lead to a host of problems, including decreased productivity, impaired cognitive function, and compromised health. Physical tiredness, if left unchecked, can quickly spiral into a cycle of fatigue that permeates other areas of our lives. Emotional tiredness, often overshadowed by its physical counterpart, deserves equal attention. It stems from the complexities of our feelings and relationships. The emotional toll of caring for others, coping with personal loss, or facing ongoing stress can leave us feeling drained and overwhelmed. This type of fatigue is often silent. It does not manifest in obvious ways, but simmers beneath the surface. Individuals may find themselves experiencing mood swings, irritability, or a sense of numbness. Emotional tiredness can be particularly insidious because it can affect our ability to connect with others and engage fully in our lives. The weight of unresolved emotions, unexpressed fears, and persistent worries can build up, leaving us feeling burdened and isolated. Mental fatigue is another layer of weariness that many encounter, especially in a world inundated with information and constant stimulation. Our brains are not designed to process an endless stream of data, yet modern technology places unprecedented demands on our cognitive capacities. The fatigue that arises from overthinking, decision fatigue, or simply attempting to keep pace with a fast-moving world can lead to burnout. In this state, individuals may struggle to focus, experience memory lapses, and find themselves feeling mentally sluggish. This cognitive exhaustion can hinder creativity, problem-solving abilities, and overall quality of life. It can leave one feeling trapped in a cycle of inadequacy, constantly chasing the next task or obligation without ever truly pausing to reflect or recharge. Spiritual tiredness, perhaps the most profound form of exhaustion, can arise when individuals feel disconnected from their purpose or faith. This weariness can manifest in a sense of disillusionment, doubt, or lack of fulfillment. It often occurs when one's values and daily actions diverge, leading to a crisis of meaning. Individuals may question their beliefs, struggle with feelings of guilt, or grapple with existential anxieties. Spiritual tiredness can create a feeling of emptiness, as though something vital is missing. In such moments, it is common to seek solace in external sources, whether through relationships, material possessions, or fleeting pleasures. However, these pursuits often fail to provide the lasting fulfillment needed to overcome this profound weariness. Recognizing the signs of tiredness in ourselves and others is crucial for fostering a deeper understanding of its impact. The physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual dimensions of fatigue are interconnected. Each form of weariness can exacerbate the others. For example, when individuals are physically exhausted, they may become more susceptible to emotional distress. Similarly, emotional fatigue can impair cognitive function, leading to decisions made in a state of depletion rather than clarity. Thus, addressing one aspect of tiredness often necessitates a holistic approach that considers the individual as a whole. It is essential to approach tiredness with compassion both for ourselves and for others. In a culture that often values productivity over well-being, it can be easy to dismiss feelings of fatigue as weakness, or failure. However, acknowledging tiredness as a legitimate aspect of life allows individuals to confront it with honesty and grace. By understanding that weariness is a natural part of the human experience, we can foster an environment where seeking help and taking time for rest is not only accepted but encouraged. Addressing tiredness requires practical strategies that promote balance and self-care. This can include establishing boundaries around work and personal time, engaging in regular physical activity, nurturing emotional well-being through meaningful connections, and prioritizing spiritual practices that foster a sense of peace and purpose. Recognizing the multifaceted nature of tiredness empowers individuals to take proactive steps toward rejuvenation and healing. By embracing a holistic perspective on weariness, we can cultivate resilience and restore balance in our lives, ultimately allowing us to engage more fully with the world around us. The understanding that God is intimately aware of our struggles is a profound and comforting truth. In the midst of our fatigue and challenges, it is vital to acknowledge that we are not alone, rather, we are cradled in the compassionate awareness of a loving Creator. This divine awareness is not a distant observation, but a deeply personal relationship that God desires to maintain with each of us. The notion that God sees and knows us in our entirety, our thoughts, feelings, and experiences imbues our struggles with significance and purpose. The Scriptures consistently affirm this idea of God's awareness. For instance, in Psalm 139, the psalmist articulates the profound depth of God's knowledge. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. This intimate understanding extends beyond surface-level recognition. It delves into the very core of our being. God knows when we sit down and when we rise up, our thoughts from afar, and even the words we have yet to speak. Such knowledge reassures us that there is nothing about us that God does not understand. This divine attentiveness provides solace during our most trying moments, allowing us to confront our weariness with the confidence that we are seen and understood. God's awareness is rooted in love and empathy. When we experience fatigue, be it physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, God does not simply observe our struggles from a distance. Instead, he enters into our pain and shares in our burdens. The concept of God as a compassionate presence is reflected in various biblical narratives. For instance, in the Gospel of John, Jesus weeps alongside the mourners at Lazarus' tomb, demonstrating that he feels the weight of sorrow and loss. This account exemplifies how God empathizes with our suffering, affirming that our emotions and struggles are valid and worthy of acknowledgement. Understanding that God knows our tiredness also invites us to reflect on the nature of our relationship with Him. Many people may perceive God as a distant authority figure, perhaps even a harsh judge, but this is a misunderstanding of His true character. In reality, God desires to be a source of comfort and refuge, offering us the assurance that we can come to Him in our weariness. The invitation to cast our burdens upon Him is not just a call to relinquish our struggles, it is an invitation to engage in an ongoing dialogue with our Creator. In prayer, we can express our fatigue, seeking His strength and wisdom to navigate the challenges before us. Acknowledging God's awareness of our tiredness encourages us to cultivate a deeper relationship with Him. When we recognize that He knows our struggles, we are more likely to approach Him with authenticity and vulnerability. This openness allows us to experience the fullness of His grace and love. It invites us to share not only our burdens, but also our joys, fears, and hopes. In this way, our relationship with God becomes a dynamic interaction where we are both known and loved. This deepening connection can serve as a powerful antidote to weariness, providing us with renewed strength and purpose. God's awareness of our tiredness highlights the importance of His promises. Throughout Scripture, we find assurances that God will sustain us in our times of need. For instance, in Isaiah 40:29-31, we read that He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might He increases strength. This promise reinforces the idea that God not only sees our struggles but also actively desires to empower us. When we find ourselves at the end of our rope, exhausted and ready to give up, we can lean into this promise. It reminds us that our fatigue does not define our capabilities, rather, it is in our weakness that God's strength can be made perfect. God's awareness of our tiredness emphasizes the communal aspect of faith. While our relationship with God is deeply personal, it is also intertwined with a community of believers. In moments of weariness, it is often through the support and love of others that we can feel God's presence and care. God uses the body of Christ to bear one another's burdens, reminding us that we are not meant to navigate life's challenges in isolation. This communal awareness creates a network of support that reflects God's love, allowing us to encourage and uplift one another during times of fatigue. Recognizing God's awareness of our tiredness can inspire us to be more aware of the struggles of those around us. When we comprehend the depth of God's understanding of our own weariness, we are prompted to extend that same compassion to others. This awareness fosters empathy and encourages us to reach out to those who may be struggling, offering them comfort and support in their times of need. In doing so, we mirror the divine love that God extends to us, creating a cycle of care and encouragement within our communities. The truth that God knows our tiredness transforms how we approach our struggles. It allows us to relinquish the burdens we carry, knowing that we can cast our cares upon Him. In the presence of God, our weariness is met with grace, understanding, and an invitation to rest. This understanding not only alleviates our individual struggles, but also enriches our communal experience as we journey together through the challenges of life, supported by the knowledge that we are deeply known and loved by our Creator. In recognizing God's intimate awareness of our struggles, we find hope, strength, and the assurance that we are never truly alone in our journey through fatigue. Fatigue is often viewed solely as a burden, but it can also serve as a profound catalyst for personal growth and transformation. The reality is that our experiences of weariness often push us beyond our comfort zones, prompting us to confront aspects of ourselves and our lives that may otherwise go unexamined. In moments of exhaustion, we are often stripped of our facades and forced to reckon with our vulnerabilities, leading to an opportunity for deep introspection and meaningful change. When we find ourselves weary, it is crucial to recognize that such states can prompt reflection. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, we frequently engage in a routine, moving from one task to another, without pausing to consider the larger implications of our choices. However, fatigue often compels us to slow down. In these moments, we may begin to question our priorities, our motivations, and the alignment of our lives with our core values. This introspective process can unveil truths about ourselves that may have remained hidden in the chaos of busyness. We may discover that our relentless pursuit of success, validation, or perfection has come at the expense of our well-being, relationships, or spiritual fulfillment. Weariness can highlight the need for change. When we experience fatigue, it can serve as a wake-up call, alerting us to areas in our lives that require attention. For instance, chronic tiredness may indicate that we are overcommitted, neglecting our health, or pursuing goals that no longer resonate with us. In this way, fatigue can act as a mirror, reflecting back the imbalances in our lives and prompting us to reassess our commitments and choices. This process of reevaluation is not always comfortable, but it is essential for growth. By recognizing the signs of weariness as indicators of a need for change, we can take proactive steps toward creating a more balanced and fulfilling life. Fatigue can foster resilience. When we encounter challenges and navigate through periods of exhaustion, we develop coping mechanisms and strengths that can serve us well in future endeavors. The process of overcoming weariness often equips us with valuable life skills, such as problem solving, perseverance, and emotional regulation. As we learn to confront and manage our fatigue, we become more adept at handling adversity. This growth in resilience not only empowers us as individuals, but also enables us to support others who may be experiencing similar struggles. We become living testimonies to the fact that weariness does not have to be a dead end, rather. It can be a transformative journey that leads to greater strength and wisdom. When we are in a state of fatigue, we often become more vulnerable and open to seeking help. This willingness to reach out can strengthen connections with others, allowing for greater intimacy and understanding. By sharing our struggles, we invite others into our lives in a meaningful way. This act of vulnerability can cultivate empathy and solidarity, fostering deeper relationships grounded in authenticity. Furthermore, as we engage with others during our periods of exhaustion, we may find that they too are navigating similar challenges. This shared experience creates a sense of community and mutual support, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Spiritual growth is another transformative outcome of fatigue. Many people find that their moments of greatest weariness become opportunities for deepening their faith and understanding of themselves in relation to God. When faced with exhaustion, individuals often turn to prayer, meditation, or reflection, seeking solace and guidance. These spiritual practices can become lifelines during challenging times, providing comfort and perspective. As we draw near to God in our weariness, we may discover a profound sense of peace and reassurance that transcends our circumstances. This connection can remind us of the purpose behind our struggles framing our fatigue as part of a larger narrative in our spiritual journey. Fatigue can instill a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the moments of rest and rejuvenation. In our fast-paced lives, we may take the simple act of rest for granted. However, when we experience weariness, we are often reminded of the importance of self-care and the need for restoration. This awareness can lead to a greater appreciation for the moments of reprieve that punctuate our lives. As we cultivate gratitude for these moments, we begin to foster a more balanced perspective, recognizing that both work and rest are essential components of a fulfilling life. The transformation that arises from fatigue can also lead to a re-evaluation of our goals and aspirations. In the face of exhaustion, we may find ourselves questioning the validity of our pursuits. Are we striving for objectives that truly align with our passions and values, or are we simply going through the motions? This questioning can inspire a shift in focus toward endeavors that bring us joy and fulfillment, rather than mere obligation. As we redefine our goals, we may find ourselves more motivated and engaged in our pursuits, driven by a sense of purpose that fuels our energy, rather than depletes it. The biblical concept of rest holds profound significance for individuals navigating the challenges of life. In a culture that often glorifies busyness and productivity, the idea of rest can seem counterintuitive or even foreign. However, the scriptures emphasize that rest is not merely a suggestion, it is a divine command and a vital aspect of human flourishing. Understanding the importance of rest can lead to transformative changes in how we approach our daily lives, allowing us to experience renewal and rejuvenation in the presence of God. Rest is first introduced in the creation narrative found in Genesis. After 6 days of creating the heavens and the earth, God rested on the seventh day. This act of rest is not indicative of fatigue or weariness, rather, it demonstrates the importance of ceasing work to reflect on the beauty and goodness of creation. By setting aside a day for rest, God establishes a rhythm that invites humanity to pause, reflect, and reconnect with Him. This divine model underscores that rest is integral to the human experience. It is woven into the very fabric of creation. The Sabbath, a day set apart for rest, serves as a reminder that we are not merely human doings, but human beings, created in the image of God and deserving of rejuvenation. The importance of rest is further reinforced in the fourth commandment, which instructs believers to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. This command is rooted in the acknowledgement of God's creative work and His desire for us to participate in His rhythm of rest. Observing the Sabbath provides an opportunity to step away from the demands of daily life and to realign our focus on what truly matters. It is a time to nurture our relationships, engage in spiritual practices, and find solace in God's presence. By honoring the Sabbath, we are reminded that our worth is not defined by our productivity, but by our identity as beloved children of God. This perspective frees us from the relentless pursuit of achievement, inviting us to embrace rest as a form of worship. Rest allows us to cultivate a deeper relationship with God. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it can be easy to lose sight of our spiritual connection. However, when we intentionally carve out time for rest, we create space for prayer, meditation, and reflection. These practices enable us to listen to God's voice and to seek His guidance in our lives. During moments of quietude, we can explore our thoughts and emotions, laying our burdens at His feet and finding comfort in His presence. It is in these sacred moments that we can encounter God in profound ways, experiencing His love, grace, and peace that transcends our circumstances. Rest serves as a powerful antidote to the weariness that often permeates our lives. In a world that constantly demands more of us, more work, more responsibilities, and more engagement, it is essential to prioritize moments of rest and restoration. Fatigue can accumulate over time, leading to burnout, stress, and a diminished quality of life. By recognizing the need for rest, we can proactively address our well-being. This may include setting boundaries around our work, engaging in activities that bring us joy, and seeking solitude to recharge. Rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity for maintaining our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. The practice of rest allows us to be more present in our lives. When we are fatigued, our ability to engage meaningfully with others diminishes. We may find ourselves distracted, irritable, or emotionally unavailable. In contrast, when we prioritize rest, we cultivate the capacity to be fully present in our interactions, allowing us to nurture relationships and connect more deeply with those around us. This presence fosters a sense of community as we engage authentically with others, sharing our experiences, joys, and struggles. In this way, rest becomes a conduit for building meaningful connections, enriching our lives and the lives of those we encounter. Rest is also an opportunity for reflection and gratitude. In the busyness of life, it can be easy to overlook the blessings that surround us. However, when we intentionally pause to rest, we create space for gratitude to flourish. We can reflect on the goodness of God, the beauty of creation, and the love we receive from family and friends. This practice of gratitude not only enhances our mental and emotional well-being, but also shifts our perspective from one of scarcity to abundance. When we recognize and celebrate the gifts in our lives, we cultivate a deeper appreciation for the present moment, fostering contentment and joy. Rest can serve as a source of inspiration and creativity. When we are constantly engaged in work and responsibilities, our minds can become cluttered, stifling our ability to think creatively. However, when we step back and allow ourselves to rest, we create an environment where ideas can flourish. Moments of relaxation and leisure often lead to breakthroughs and insights that may have eluded us in a state of fatigue. Embracing rest can thus unleash our creative potential, enabling us to approach challenges with fresh perspectives and renewed energy. Rest can be a transformative experience that instills hope and renewal. In times of weariness, it can be challenging to envision a brighter future. However, when we intentionally engage in rest, we open ourselves to the possibility of renewal. Through moments of solitude and reflection, we can reconnect with our purpose, dreams, and aspirations. This reconnection provides a sense of hope, reminding us that our current struggles are not permanent and that God is continually at work in our lives, shaping us for His greater purposes.